In the heart of Lincoln Park, where oaks whispered stories of forgotten summers, James Carter sat alone on a weathered bench. At 72, he was a man most past without a glancy, a black Vietnam veteran with eyes that held too many memories and a posture bent by time. His olive green jacket, frayed but proud, carried the scent of jungles and gunpowder. This park, with its laughter and rustling leaves, was his refuge. But today, peace would slip through his fingers like sand, setting the stage for a confrontation that would shake a community to its core. The late afternoon sun cast golden rays across the grass. Families picnicked, kids chased frisbees, and joggers wove through the paths. James, nearly invisible to the crowd, watched a squirrel dart across the lawn. His hands, rough from years of service, rested on his knees. For a moment, he closed his eyes, savoring the warmth on his face. Then came the footsteps, heavy, deliberate. His soldier's instinct stirred. Opening his eyes, he saw 3 police officers approaching, their faces stern. "Evening, sir," said Officer Grant, a broad-shouldered man with tired eyes. "You've been here a while." His tone was clipped, suspicious. James replied softly, "Just enjoying the day, officer." His voice carried the weight of decades, but Grant's gaze remained cold. The other 2 officers, Bennett and Larson, stepped closer. "Mind telling us why you're here?" Bennett asked, glancing at his watch. "Park closes soon." James felt a familiar resignation mixed with sadness. "I come here every day," he said. "It's where I find peace." But the officer's eyes held no understanding, only doubt. A small crowd gathered, whispering. A mother pulled her kids close. A teenager, Kevin, paused his basketball game to watch. The air grew heavy, charged with unspoken tension. Grant pressed, "Got ID on you?" James reached into his jacket, producing a worn wallet. Grant flipped through it, pausing at a faded Marine Corps ID. His brow furrowed, but he handed it back without comment. "You were in the Marines," he said, less certain. James nodded. "A long time ago." The silence that followed was thick, loaded with unspoken questions. Why was this man, a veteran, being treated like a vagrant? The crowd murmured, some sympathetic, others judgmental. Bennett, impatient, snapped, "Look, we've had complaints about loitering. You need to move." James stood slowly, his voice steady. "Is it wrong to want a quiet spot? I serve this country. This is my home too." Bennett scoffed. "Rules are rules." Grant hesitated, but Bennett signaled to a 4th officer approaching with AK-9 Unita, muscular German shepherd named Duke. The crowd gasped as Duke strained at his leash, eyes locked on James. Officer Hayes, Duke's handler, gave a sharp command, "Stay." But Bennett, seizing the moment, nodded. "Deploy the dog. Let's move this along." Hayes loosened the leash, and Duke surged forward, barking fiercely. The crowd froze, expecting chaos. A mother shielded her kids. Kevin whispered, "This ain't right." James stood still, his heart pounding, memories of war flooding back. Jungle rain, the roar of choppers, and a dog much like Duke who'd saved his life. But as Duke neared, something miraculous happened. The dog slowed, nose twitching, eyes softening with recognition. Hayes shouted, "Duke, hold." But Duke ignored him, stopping inches from James. With a whimper, he nuzzled James's chest, tail wagging furiously. James knelt, tears welling. "Hey, old friend," he whispered. "It's me, James." The crowd gasped. Someone muttered, "What just happened?" James wrapped his arms around Duke. "You remember, don't you? We were brothers out there." He turned to Hayes, voice breaking. "Vietnam. Duke's kin saved me more times than I can count." The park fell silent, prejudice and protocol dissolving in the face of this bond. Bennett stepped back, pale. "This doesn't make sense." Hayes knelt beside Duke, stunned. "He's never done this." From the crowd, a voice boomed. "That man's a hero." Walter, a tall black man with a military cap, strode forward. "I served with James in Nam. He saved lives, mine included. He doesn't deserve this." Walter's eyes met James's, a spark of recognition passing between them. "James, it's been too long." He turned to the officers. "You ever stood in the line of fire?" James did. "He's family." The crowd shifted. Kevin and his friends nodded, inspired. A woman, Ellen, wiped tears. "My dad was in the army. He'd say soldiers never forget their own." Her daughter, Lily, asked, Why's the dog hugging him, Mommy? Ellen knelt. Because heroes need love too, sweetheart. Grant's eyes softened. We owe you an apology, sir. James shook his head, hands in Duke's fur. I just want respect. A little dignity. The moment hung, sacred and raw. Walter placed a hand on James's shoulder. You're not invisible anymore. Hayes unclipped Duke's leash, letting him stay by James. He's earned this. The crowd circled closer, not with suspicion, but solidarity. Kevin stepped forward. Sir, were you scared in the war? James smiled. Every day? But dogs like Duke? They never hesitated. They'd run into hell to save you. Ellen, still filming, said, the world needs this story. Nods rippled through the crowd. Grant cleared his throat. We'll do better, sir. Starting now. As dusk fell, the park transformed. Strangers became neighbors, united by compassion. James, for the first time in years, felt seen. He looked at Duke, then Walter. Thank you. Both of you. Days later, the story exploded. News channels replayed James and Duke's embrace, a testament to loyalty and redemption. Social media buzzed. This is what America should be. James woke to messages of gratitude, his phone buzzing with voices he'd never met. Walter called, laughing. You're famous, brother. You've brought this town together. At the police station, Grant and Hayes faced their chief. We judged too fast, Grant admitted. James deserved better. The chief nodded. You'll take sensitivity training and speak at community meetings. Tell them about James. Bennett, humbled, added, I want to apologize to him in person. The chief agreed. Do it. Ellen's article hit the local paper. A park divided, a community healed. Comments flooded online. Thank you, James and Duke. Kevin and his friends, now local heroes, told their school it was better than any movie. The park bench became a landmark, polished by visitors sharing stories of service and struggle. One morning, Ellen returned. The mayor wants to honor you, James. A ceremony at the park. James blinked, stunned. I never imagined. Walter grinned. You let folks in, and look what happens. The ceremony drew hundreds of veterans, kids, officers in dress blues. The mayor unveiled a plaque, dedicated to all who serve, seen and unseen. A place of peace and belonging. James spoke, voice trembling. The hardest battles aren't always overseas. They're in our hearts, when we choose care over judgment. We all need a place to rest, a friend to trust, a community that says you matter. The crowd roared, Lily waving a tiny flag, Duke barking joyfully. Bennett approached, hat in hand. I was wrong, sir. I'll do better. James shook his hand. That's what counts. As sunlight faded, James sat on the bench, Duke at his side, Walter nearby. One act of kindness, James murmured. That's all it takes. The park glowed, a beacon of hope. Children played, officers chatted with neighbors, and a community stood renewed. James closed his eyes, peace settling deep. He was home. What do you think of James's story? Have you witnessed injustice or violence in your community? Share your thoughts in the comments. Take a stand, voice your perspective. Let's talk about how we can build a world where everyone is seen and respected.